everyone. Welcome to the Smart 420 Smoke Room. We are live on Relevant. Today we have Gift of Life or Canna app joining us, Lori and Steve. They should be on any moment. Welcome, Gift of Life, Canna Lori and Steve. How are you?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was running a few minutes behind. Sorry, Life. I walked through the door and traffic was a little more backed up and the dogs needed to go out, Life.
Yeah, I know, girl. Traffic's horrendous here in H-Town.
Yes. So, how has life been? I know, let's start off with who you are and where you're from, in case anybody's new here who doesn't know.
Hi, guys. I'm Lori, and I'm with Gift of Life Canna. And Steve-O, he's somewhere around here.
He'll be popping in and out like usual.
He's my partner in crime.
Definitely.
But yes, we are with, like I said, Gift of Life Canna, and we like to educate and provide information to all who want to learn about cannabis and the different ways that you can medicate with cannabis. And I had great success with cannabis and Pico, and that's kind of what got us started with. That's what created Gift of Life was the great success that Steve-O and I had using Pico.
Yes, I know that you guys are located in Texas. For those of you who don't know, they're down south in Texas. Right. And you guys are really big into RSOs, which is a really big thing. It's just starting to get more bigger out here, per se. So, For those of you who don't know what RSO is, Lori, do you want to explain a little bit about what RSO is, briefly?
Right. Well, that's what I was, when I say FICO, some call it RSO.
Yep. Out here, they don't call it FICO yet, so a lot of people are probably like, what is she talking about?
Right. And some call it FECO. So, I call it FICO because, of course, I'm like you said, down south.
When you say FICO, it reminds me of poop, like fecal matter. So,
right. And some people have misunderstood what I was talking about, too. Like, when I said FICO and thought I was talking about food.
Yeah. But, I know you weren't, because I know the lingo just from hanging out with a lot of different people from Texas. But out here, we're like, what the heck? Is that something new?
It's actually just the initials for full extracted cannabis. It's,
okay.
Cannabis oil, FICO, full extracted cannabis oil.
And that's also what RSO is, correct? Because they're actually
right.
the same.
It's just FICO. Well, RSO, when Rick Simpson, that stands for Rick Simpson oil. It's just really his brand. He is the gentleman responsible for the RSO brand.
Correct.
And it's just the different ways they extract it. FICO is extracted with food-grade alcohol, where RSO was extracted with nuclear. No, not RSO. It's extracted with non-food grade.
Yeah, like coconut oil and things like that, the non-grade food one, or things of that sort.
Yeah, like MCT oils and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what exactly do you guys do at the Gift of Life Canna? What if somebody was looking to follow you guys and join your groups and join your lives and stuff? What exactly is it that you guys present? Like, what's going on over there?
Well, we like I said, we like to do lives where we educate.
So a lot of education.
And let them know what FICO is, for one thing. The different, and it's not just FICO, that there's so many different methods to medicate with cannabis.
Yeah, I'm an edible lover. I'm an edible lover, for sure.
Or maybe, they want to learn about it, but they, they're new at it, and they don't really know what to do. So our lives, which we do on our own, our group, which is Canna.
And that's located on Facebook, correct? And Relevant?
Right. Facebook, Relevant, Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, where else are we? TikTok.
You're on Canna Buzz.
Canna Buzz. Keep up with all this trash.
Yes, I definitely try to keep up with you guys. You guys are busy little bees.
Yes, like Steve said, we're also members of the Texas Human Solution here in Texas.
That's a great program. Honestly, I love everybody that works with it. You guys have introduced me to them. And if it wouldn't have been for you guys and me meeting them, they've helped me quite a bit already just in my journey so far. And just, they've accepted me as family, like with all their little chats and like we all talk back and forth. So I really like everything that they're doing there at all of their locations as well. They have like a Texas, a Vegas, a Ohio, and I think a California. There's lots of different chapters, and as I continue to learn, like so far those are the chapters I've already learned about. But that program is a really good program. For those of you who don't know much about it, you should definitely check it out. They offer a lot of good resources, especially if you're currently facing any criminal charges for cannabis. They can offer a lot of good insight on your options or what to do next or how to help you, advise you, or support you through your trials and tribulations of your case, and be there to support you.
If you're coming out of being released and you need help with starting, your life again.
Yes.
They just help. They're just helpers.
Yeah, they help in a lot of different things. So check them out, for sure. And anybody who's been having any technical difficulties on Relevant lately, we actually are in the middle of doing another Android update and an Apple update. We're redoing our software over there to incorporate some new awesome features that are coming soon. I was told the update should be done by Friday, if not sooner. We're hoping for sooner, but let's just say Friday to be safe. So if anybody's having issues with getting in your app or frozen or freezing or not letting you end your lives or your discussions, just uninstall the app and reinstall it and your problems will be fixed, because every small update that's added along the way to make the large update kind of will cause a little bit of technical difficulties. So definitely whenever you run into an error or an issue, just update the app or uninstall it and reinstall. If you don't know how to update, the quickest way to get all the new updates is just to reinstall the app. I found it to be the most easiest. So for anyone who is trying to listen to any of us live on Relevant, we do have a listener now, by the way. Thank you.
Sally.
Yes,
Sally.
Sally.
My girl, Sally.
She's welcome to join if you guys are down. I'm open to listeners joining in. We don't actually have a full topic today. We're just going to discuss what's going on at Canna Care, Gift of Life. And I also kind of wanted to give an update. I know you guys recently had a lot going on in Texas with your moving and with all the weather situations and stuff. So
We're good now, girl. We're good now. We're on top of things now.
Yeah, I know that there was a little bit of delay. So anybody who has been watching, obviously everybody goes through their trials and tribulations where the state and the weather just throw things at you. And that's kind of where life has been for
Especially Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, we have summer 3 days ago, winter 2 days ago, now it's getting summer again.
You guys are getting Michigan weather. Welcome to it. That's my life every day. It's summer, spring, and fall all week. It's Monday is summer, Tuesday is spring, Wednesday's freezing. Then you go to fall. Then you go back to like October weather, like Croptober, where everything's melting. And then you're like, we just might make it, until they decide to make all that watery ice. It's like a wishy well of moods here, like bipolarness. For sure. And it seems like with the climate changes, this year down south really got more of our rough winter, per se, than what Michigan normally gets. So we've actually lucked up. I mean, yeah, we've had some negative degree weather like this past week, but... And one of my pipes broke.
Last year. We did last year. We had like, well, not negative, but we had 13,
17, something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's our normal here, like in the winter time. But, like, I mean, this past week we had some negative weathers, but furthermore than that, like, but that's not that bad, like, to have an occasional negative, because normally in the winter here it's always negative or dang near negative.
You're always in the snow, girl.
Yeah. But, so, I just rolled up a blunt. I don't know about you guys, but...
I'm getting one right now. I'm right behind you. I'm a little slow with things, but dang, hey, I get it.
Sally, if you would like to join us and have a sesh, you're more than welcome to push the go live button on the bottom left-hand side of the chat and join us. You'll pop up just like Lori and Steve, and your mic will be on, or you can choose to have it off, however you prefer, but this is an open invite.
Right, Sally. Another team player that's been with us since day one. I love my girl, Sally.
Very much so.
It was good to have awesome supporters.
Right.
Yeah, so
awesome supporter for Kids Alive Canna Care.
I wanted to ask you an update while you're rolling your blunt before I light mine. I know that last time we talked, we were really discussing hard about these new law changes for that teacup and all the controversial issues. Has anything actually changed since then with any other laws, or did anything get any further, per se?
Well, not if you remember when all this, we had that Delta, you remember that Delta 8 ban they did?
Yes, I remember there was controversy and they were up in the wind and they were unsure if they were going to keep it permanent or temporary block. And I thought they lifted something in it, but girl, I can't remember either exactly what happened with that, because at that time is when you were starting to have your issues and I was starting to have mine, and both of us faded away for a minute.
Right. Well, yeah, because see, I was wondering what did happen with that, because if you remember, they got that judge temporarily blocked that ban, and they were going to have a hearing at the end of January, like the 27th. And I was telling Steve, I was like, well, I wonder what happened. I haven't heard anything about that hearing.
Okay, so what courthouse?
So I looked it up, girl, and it was kind of just like, I guess, swept under the rug, because there has not been a hearing. And,
well, the hearing itself, the lawyer they got assigned to it, obviously over the holidays, and then needed an extension. So the first hearing, they probably say, I've obtained legal counsel, and my legal counsel needs more time to go over the case. So they adjourn it. So it gets adjourned. And then the second one, the second court date is kind of where we just discuss whether we are here or aren't. Kind of almost as if, when you're getting arrested, how you do go in front of the judge and, like, then you get your bail set or whatever. Like, it's like a show cause. Like, what are we here for? And then the third one would be the evidence they have against you, like it's like a preliminary trial almost.
Well, that all these, a lot of the smoke shops sued.
Smoke shops, the growers, and all that.
Yeah, they have a lot of lawsuits, and it's just like.
So what I want to do.
I shared an article on that on Canna Care.
So what courthouse is this actually being handled out of? What district?
Somewhere around San Antonio area.
Okay, well, if you can find the courthouse's direct website and send it to me, I will see what else I can find on it. Inbox me that later.
And it kind of looks like they're just going to sweep it under the rug.
Well, legally at this point they can't, because there's open lawsuits. So at this point, it's kind of like they ride them out together. They're going to ride them out together before making their decision, I'm sure. But honestly, if we can see what files, because every time when you go, it's all public knowledge. You can see what paperwork has been filed and when their next court date is and what type of court date and what has been done and hasn't been done in the case. And you can see the exact dates and who filed what and when. So, like, if you were to actually, like, if I was to obtain the court information of what courthouse they were at and what judge they have, then I could figure out a little bit more about what's actually going on with that and what we could expect the future to hold, perhaps,
Right. That's, I think for now.
But I'll look into it, because I definitely want to know.
And the teacup is still, we have that 1%. And you have to have a qualifying condition to get that teacup card.
So what is the next plan of action here that the cannabis activists are currently fighting for? What's their next debate?
I would like to see myself that 1% raised. I would like.
Burn it up, Trish.
I don't want it, Kat, but it should be the doctor in your decision of what dosage you need and not the states.
My real question is, why are we monitoring doses? Other states don't. Like, they could give two shits with how much pot I smoke here. The more pot I smoke, the better. Shit, get higher, girl. Leave me the fuck alone and go sit down. Like, that's how they're
only a dose, right?
Check it out, Trish. I went to the smoke shop the other day just wondering what is going on with this Delta 8 and how are y'all selling it? Okay, well, you don't even have to have a license to sell Delta 8. And what I'm thinking about doing is going out like they did up north, or like y'all did up north whenever Girl Scout cookie come out. That's how they got their name. Started selling on the streets for giving for charity, for giving it out, giving the
so that's a little bit harder to get into because there's a lot of licenses and regulations involved in the charity things and a lot of government testing that has to be done before you can give it to medical patients who normally sign up as the recipients to your charity fund. But what I would recommend you do, which I've recommended to you before, which I actually looked a little more into, it's really easy to obtain a hemp license to grow hemp. There's different characters and numbers, and if you did a hemp farm, which you can do indoor or outdoor, however you choose to have your farm, and you get the proper equated, stuff for that, you can still do whatever with your hemp because any CBD or hemp, like CBD product is legal in all 50 states. So you don't need a license or anybody to regulate. Yeah, or to regulate it or to do anything particularly to it. But you do need to have certain licenses depending on your state to grow.
Yeah, you have to have it to grow it.
But there are a lot of grants. There are a lot of grants that will give you funding for certain gardens, certain harvests, certain vegetables, and I do believe certain states do help pay for like hemp and CBD, but not THC gardens. But they do hemp ones because there are a lot of products and a lot of medical things that are involved in hemp. So honestly, your state is so pro hemp, even though you're cannabis and you're a cannabis lover and a cannabis activist. If you really want to get your foot wet and into some action, before it's actually legal, you should start with the actual hemp and CBD.
Well, we talked about
that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
We were in Conroe.
We have a friend of ours that's coming in that's in with us, DroPlug.com. He has DroFlix as well. Keegan Dowsey, real good guy. We're getting in with him. We're going to start going out off to like California, Colorado and stuff right there and do our tours. That way, we can get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, that's an awesome plan. I would definitely follow that journey, and that would be some great content to be involved in. So any way or form, if you do that I could help you, I can't necessarily join you, but I would definitely like to be active or help spread the word of what you're doing and, a little bit there. That'd be awesome, for sure. So,
and I was going to say this, Trish, hang on just one second. We're going to start going to the courthouses as well in Houston. We're going to try to have do a walk for change or something. I would love to do that. I want to get with Candace Stars.
If you're going to do a walk for change, you should also get prior to that petition forms and fill out stuff to get petitions properly ready and get ready for signatures. So while you're there, your active for walk actually does make change, because doing a walk is great and all, but if you're not getting signatures for some form of petition for it, it's all done by a paper trail. So unless you're building your paper trail, are you going to actually make change with the court? Standing outside of them is great. Activism is great, but it's only if it's done with an actual productive cause. The only way to be productive is to get signatures for whatever you're trying to veto or fix. So if you're trying to fix that 1% law, then what you need to do is figure out how you can go against that. How many signatures will it take to amend that law? How many signatures will it take to change that law? Then you want
also we want to
a signature
add chronic pain back on.
Okay, so all of those things should be things that you should get organized and ready. So then at the walk, all you got to do is get signatures, emails, whatever, legal documents that they're asking for people to fill out on the form. Get your forms ready, get everything ready.
Many chronic pain patients, probably we could get so many signatures.
Oh, I'm sure. And if you got an online link where we could use those forms and do it with the government site, we could advocate that very well across all social media platforms. And I'm sure that we could get a lot more signatures than just with, in general. So doing both of those would
very
be
good idea.
very beneficial.
Right, we can put it on we have a .com now.
Yes, I actually just checked it out.
.com.
I see it connected to your relevant page. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Let me take a look and see how this is looking. And I checked it out the other night.
It's not finished. We're working on it.
It's looking good, though. Like, I actually really do like it. I'm very proud of how far you guys have come and how far you guys still have to go. You guys are not going to bow down without a fight. I definitely see that. You are true cannabis diehard.
We are not giving up.
We're not giving up.
Till they free the weed in all 50.
Yes, ma'am. All 50.
For sure. Free the weed everywhere, for real. Yeah. So at this point, if you get signatures and you do all of that, that would be something great. I would definitely like to be involved in that. And Candace Dyer, she's awesome. Let's give a shout out to her. She's very supportive on everything and everybody cannabis related. She is hands in. She's involved in so many things I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, I know. I don't see how y'all girls do all this. We need some kind of director with us.
We need a director. I am the director.
Yes, us females, we play very many multi roles.
We need social media directors. What we need, like a lot of you guys do, or a lot of you do, girls do, and guys do.
Yes, I've been working really hard on my image. I've been working really hard on my image and my making sure I'm staying on top of my posters and being organized. I set some New Year's resolutions and some New Year's goals this year that were pretty awesome. It was all about, staying on top of it, and it's a get it done year is what like my motto was. So like if I have a plan or a list, it's going to be a get it done but go with the flow kind of year, because every time I always plan everything, I feel like it doesn't work out the way I hoped. But now that I'm a little more organized, it actually is working out semi on time. Like today was actually the first time I would have been on time had my daughter not have talked me into stopping for Starbucks on the way home. I would have been on time because when I got here, like I had just a few minutes to spare, but then the dogs were crying to go out, and I'm like, they're going to cry during the whole podcast. I might as well just spend the 15 minutes now. Otherwise, I'm going to hear them cry through my whole show. So I'm like, I almost got like the whole mom life, the whole business life, the whole being organized thing almost down to a T, but I'm almost like right there. But I implemented some apps. Yeah, but I implemented some apps to help me stay organized, like a calendar app with appointments, so I can just go in and like see what my schedule is.
Link. Thank you for that link, because I do need that calendar app.
Yes, Wendy actually hooked me up. Wendy from the Wendy Love Ed Show or from Weed Speak. She runs both of those. She hooked me up with that app. That's one of the apps she actually uses to book her appointments. And when I found it, I was like, awesome. And you can do it for free, or you can pay $10 a month, depending on what services you want through it. But because I have multiple shows, I paid the monthly fee, and it was awesome actually, because I can like organize all my monthly shows, and then it shows me my schedule combined, so I know if I overbooked or so it's worth the $10 a month if you have like a busier schedule, because I even have like a private show that I actually use as my doctor appointments, so then now I know if my appointments are mixed in, and my private shows are my private life, and then the other two shows are the Sprinkle for Some Love with a Cause and the 420 Smoke Room. So I know if I'm overbooking, and like if I'm not checking multiple calendars and trying to do the math myself now.
Right.
Like it's really awesome. Like if you actually do pay the month, like you can organize your life a little more in that app than what you realize, and you can send reminders to your fan. Like
that's definitely worth that. To organize our lives a little more.
Yeah, it definitely is. I was really glad for that. And anyone who is not following Wendy from the Wendy Love Ed Show, you should definitely follow her. She's on Facebook and Relevant and YouTube and many other platforms. But Relevant is really where we associate at. Relevant is I'll be on Weed Speak on February 20th. When will you guys be on Weed Speak?
I'm not sure, Trish.
You got to reschedule your appointment?
It was scheduled for the 19th.
Well, then it might still be the 19th, but let's look into that. But I know that right now We'd Speak has actually got a lot of new content and a lot of new listeners. So anybody who wants to go check them out, you definitely should over on Relevant. So at this point, let's talk about something new. What's been going on new with you? I see you guys have the website, but what else is new over there? I remember you said a few other things, but I'm smoking, so I can't recall right now.
I'm sitting here trying to think what else.
Well, we've been doing a lot of market parties here in Texas. It's getting real big. They've been having a lot of market parties.
Yeah, I've been looking at that. How does that work for the legal aspect? I've got a lot of questions on that.
It's like I told you, it's very tight here.
Delta 8. We got to sell Delta 8 at our events.
Oh, okay.
Smiley face, tongue out, winky eye, all that.
Yeah. I got your concept.
LOLs and all that.
Yeah, so,
See that winky eye? See that winky eye that's on your 420?
Right, yeah.
There it is. There's that winky eye.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's kind of great.
I see you guys, I see you guys got new stickers and stuff in, too. That was awesome.
Yes, we got stickers.
What kind of, I know you guys do giveaways all the time. What kind of giveaways do you guys have going on right now? Are there any that anybody would be, in case you
Well, right now we're doing on our Discord, we're doing a giveaway. We have a couple of things we're doing. We're also doing a lot of benefits for people, raffles, waffles on our Discord. We do that all the time. We help people out, people in need. A lot of people. They had a lady just got in a wreck here right before Christmas.
Yes, that's on Houston High.
That's how we're on Houston High.
We were.
Big shout out to Houston High as well.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of great things, Houston High. And we're also in Space City. Shout out to those guys as well.
Definitely. So if anybody wanted to enter your Discord giveaway, how would they do that?
First, they would have to download the Discord app. And once you get that Discord app, I can
lead you in the direction.
So they should probably find you on Facebook or Relevant and message you and then go from there?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, you can message us on we have a page as well. It's Skip the Blythe Canna Care. You can always message us there.
Okay, so if you guys wanted in on that giveaway, then find them on Facebook under Gift of Life or Canna Care app. And they can message you some more details of how to get to their Discord room where they do their giveaways. And that's a private room, so it's kind of like a VIP thing. But it is totally free for anybody who thinks the VIP part means hidden fee. It doesn't. But it just is their exclusive giveaways and their exclusive area of where they do their exclusive content. So definitely check that out.
It's because, Facebook sometimes we get strikes for doing a giveaway.
Yeah, right now.
So that's why we're in a private room.
Yes.
They don't do that there.
We do a lot of waffles and a lot of giveaways. I mean,
right.
Houston High is a very big group. I think that's one of the largest groups in Texas, Discord groups. Anyway.
I think we have almost 4,000 members.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. That is truly awesome. You guys have definitely built it up over there.
Yes, it's growing every day. I mean, it's awesome, and I wish I would have took a lot more pictures of the place where we go do our Discord events, our market parties. It is the best party I've ever been to. They do have a little bit of drinking going on, but no fight, no nothing.
It almost reminds me of the High Time Cups.
Right.
Or like the cannabis cups.
They're drinking. There's more drinking infused drinks, I believe, than beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They do have alcohol. Yeah, they do have alcohol.
They have beer, I think. Yeah, beer.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
So at this point,
it's just a great deal that we have going on.
Steve, don't you got a few groups and a few things that you actually work on as well independently, like separate than Lori, or like I know you have a couple groups of your own. Sometimes I pop in them, but I forget the names of those. Did you want to shout any of those out?
Big shout out to Tanya Winnington, Cannabis Reform at Houston, as well.
Aaron Sarah with Cities by Design. Happy House. Melted Leaf. Big shout out to Colo Frog with Lisa Hunt. Thank you for supporting us. The awesome lights you give us. They're great. They do very good. Anyway,
I know my husband wants to link up with them. He's been asking me for that info that you've told me about.
Right. I need to talk to him.
He just actually started a page. I'll send you his info of what his stuff is, and you can link up with him. He's on Instagram though, not Facebook.
Right.
But
we're on Instagram too. That's good. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, he started his Instagram finally.
Put him out there. Yay! Shout out to your hubby.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm really excited for that, but he doesn't want to be linked to all of mine. He wants to do his own thing. But so I'll give you his info, and you can link up with them, and the two of you can figure your life out.
Okay, that'll be great. That'll be awesome.
So I'm really excited for all the new changes going on in general for this year. What do you feel this full year will hold in the long run? What do you see happening by the end of the year for cannabis in your state? What do you think?
I see it going fully legal.
By the end of this year? You think by the end of this year? And why do you say that?
I think it's going to go federal legal anyway. That's what I meant, federal legal.
So if it goes federal legal, how long will it take the ripple effect for each state to convert over to the federal law?
I think it would happen pretty quick because they need the money.
Well, here's where I beg to differ with you, because marijuana was federally legal and still is, and each state is legal, and each state has the choice to listen to their law, which is where we say it's legal here in Michigan, or the federal law where we still say it's illegal. So if federal law overrode the state law, then whether Michigan says it's legal or not, it's still illegal if you're going by federal law. So who's right and who's wrong? So even if they change that federal law, it's still kind of the catch-22 of what each state says, whether they have to listen.
Because I can decide they want to.
So right now it's federally illegal. So right now no state should actually be legal if the federal law was to actually, if they just change it, if that actually was that simple to override. But I don't feel that would be true. Because if that's the case, everybody here is federally legal, breaking the law, even though the state says it's legal.
Right.
So I think both of them have to agree.
Makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Right, so I think that both of them will have to agree. First, federal law, then maybe the federal law will entice the states to agree or offer compensation for agreeing or federal funding for agreeing, and that would win over certain states, especially Texas, who is huge on the pharmaceutical business. So if there was federal funding, the pharmaceutical company could use federal funding to then do the pharmaceutical medications with cannabis if they so choose, and actually use the government to pay for it or something. Then I could see if the pharmaceutical company was on board with the federal options or programs, then Texas would definitely go down with it. I really think it's going to lie in what the federal options offer. If the federal makes it legal, they would probably offer each state that's not legal yet some form of deal or contract, because they must feel a bigger whole benefit as making it legal across the map, you know?
Right.
And I think you're right, though. It has to be legal across the map, because even with traveling, so like if you live here in Michigan and you're going to order marijuana, let's say for your dispensary, or you want to get it from another state or whatever, like just with traveling right now, there's so many laws with crossing state lines and city lines and guidelines. Like that, even for like the industrial business, if the industrial business of marijuana wants to boom or take off, the federal business would have to like get on board, because you know what I mean? Obviously the amount that people would be shipping for dispensaries would be a federal case, and then federal would waive it because it's federally legal. Like, you know what I mean? Like there would be some catch. Like, I don't know, but I definitely feel like there's still, even if one takes it, that there's still a hell of a fight after that, because I don't think it's just going to make it legal across the map. I don't know, though. I mean, I don't think it would. Just my thought, though. But I'm not sure.
I mean, I may be wrong about all this. That's
no, it's just the guessing. We're just conversating and high and just trying to, nothing. But I just kind of was thinking that out loud.
I've been fighting for 20 damn years or longer, I have been decades. I have been. I've been going up to the Capitol. I've been, doing a lot of things doing this. But my buddy now that's paraplegic, and it's, it put a big damper on me because we were doing a lot of stuff, going to a lot of rallies, different things, we were doing for Texas Normal in Beaumont, Jefferson County chapter. We were doing a lot, and my buddy got in a four-wheeler accident. That's the reason why I asked Lori to help me do this, help me get this going, because my buddy's paraplegic. He's now in bed for my four-wheeler accident, and I wanted to continue on with this, But I just didn't have nobody to continue on besides my wife. And she's been helping me out.
Sometimes that's all the support you need.
Right. So, yeah, I know that. I say that's all. We need more support.
Oh, definitely, for sure. But, to encourage you to keep going, to continue your fight of spreading the word.
Well, what really got me to really going with this, Trish, was, like I told you, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I was involved in a really horrible accident when I was 30. That's 30 years ago. I'm 60 now. And I was thrown from my vehicle. I flipped it, and I was thrown out of the vehicle while the truck actually and then flung into a canal. But long story short, I had to have spinal reconstruction and a lot of other surgeries, and went through depression, and started pain management and got on every opiate there is on the market. And that's like in the early 90s when it wasn't regulated like it is now. So I was on high dose opiate, and I tried cannabis oil for the first time because I hadn't, I don't, being 60, I was just smoking cannabis back in the day, but I quit smoking it because you couldn't test positive for THC and pain management.
Right. I recall we actually did a podcast on you and Steve on both of your medical issues previously, and I remember we broke all of that down. And I remember that it was a very, I remember you breaking it down as it was very traumatic for both of you, both of your individual experiences. Oh, yeah. The both of you have been through the moon and back, especially with your battles from health to fighting for cannabis. So I definitely hope that cannabis becomes legal very soon in your state, but I just hope that it's sooner than later. Maybe in the next 3 to 5 years it'll be fully legal there, like how it is here. Well, it took us about, I want to say we've been legal for more than 5 years, and we're just now becoming recreational legal. But it's like a phase of operations where the ripple effect has to take time to play out, and all the laws take time to change, and that is an actual process.
All the states around us are legal just about.
Well, those states are different though. So it's all about your state itself, and the cities itself that you're in.
We're the only one.
Like Louisiana, they were legal for I think 8-9 years now, but they had the a teacup program there. Yeah. And then this year, here a couple of months ago, they made it not fully legal, but you can go to the dispensaries and get it from the doctors and stuff like that, like it started out.
That's what you guys need to fight for. Instead of skipping with the whole, because my personal opinion is, okay, there's a timeline for everything. And right now they're like, okay, y'all been crying and throwing a fit, so you know what, we gonna give y'all this little teacup thing. That's to hold you over, literally like a shot glass. Okay? And that'll last for...
That's why they call it teacup.
Yeah, that'll last, literally for so long. And then by the time you guys write new bills and new acts, then then we'll give this or that. But honestly, you're going through the phase of operation, and if you look at all the states around you and how long it took for them to even accomplish those, skip that phase, karate chop that teacup, and just go straight for the doctor's order and go straight for what the other state next to you did next. Like, just boot the teacup. Because even if you fight for a higher percentage, are you going to fight for 2 shot glasses? Like, what's even 2 shot glasses? Like, come on.
Right.
Like, what's the real fight?
Like David Bass.
Well, here's the thing, too. There's like, last time I looked, there's about 35 cannabis doctors here in Texas now that, they are,
so,
they can write.
So what I would do is I would go.
They can write 40 milligrams.
Well, I would call them doctors and figure out if you can't get all 40 of them to come together and help create a petition with you, because they would financially benefit if it became way more legal, because they are the only 40 doctors. Right. And if 40 doctors got every single one of their patients to sign their petition, and you and any other advocates that you and associates that you and I know, and you do a march, like, between that alone, you should have X amount of petitions. And if the doctors are all on board and their patients are all on board, I mean, I'm sure how many patients are going to go spread the word to several of their friends. That's what stoners do. Like, honestly, I would skip the whole teacup fight and just knock that one out the way and move it to the side and go to the next option and go there and go hard. Because then you're 2 steps closer to actually full legalization. First, you would have to start with some form of, smallness first. Like, going from the teacup is already there, but you need some form of petition and some form of, I don't know what Louisiana actually fully did, so that's what I'm trying to think right now, exactly what they did in that.
Like Ohio.
Well, they let LSU, the college, buy up a bunch of land. From what I heard from my nephew, he lived up there. He's a cop, or was. He lives there. He was a cop, but anyway, that's the point. He said it's been legal for like 8 or 9 years. Or 5 years, and that was like 3 years ago. So I'm saying 8 or 9 right now. It's been legal, but they just now this year
didn't have any.
Started, but yeah, they do, but they didn't have no dispensaries at first, and they didn't have no.
So exactly right now is when they're just now putting together their next phase, which would be coming medically card legal at this point, is what they're shooting for.
Well, no, it is medical. It is medical legal there.
Yeah, they have their cards. People have their
it's
cards.
Fully medical legal there.
So, okay, right, but without a quantity, so they got rid of the teacup. So the teacup was first legal, then they got rid of the teacup with the measurements, and now they're at fully legal with just a medical card.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the next phase in their operation, if they excel at that, would be to go recreational legal.
Right.
Okay, so for you, you should skip the teacup and try to figure out, link up with your nephew, have him help figure out some research of what they did to become medical card legal. What acts or what laws did they get? What petitions did they get to vote for that, or how'd they get that? Even though Texas does run different and supposedly petitions don't work, but I feel like so many petitions, like, they have to do something. Right. I just don't know exactly what down there, because Texas law is completely different. But definitely I would meet up with a cannabis lawyer from down in Texas and just ask them a few questions, get some free advice from over the phone, or like some questions about like what could you file to go after, or if I wanted to hire a lawyer to do this, what would I hire, like what would they be doing, and just get an idea from them what they say that legal process, what they see it would be. And, instead of retaining that lawyer right now, just try to gather your signatures and get something started from there. But definitely doing marches and all of that.
I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, and
start with those cannabis doctors.
Yeah, the cannabis doctors will have a lot of knowledge on what they feel will also be next. And if you get their signatures and get them to also help run like their own and give them clipboards with papers, and you come back and retrieve them at their offices, or you mail them to each
That's
other.
Very good idea. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, you should definitely set up some form of meeting with them.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and then at the marketplaces, you can also get people to sign.
Have such great ideas.
You're welcome.
That's a lot of signatures.
Oh yeah.
But the signatures is where the math is at, and if you really want to make the change and you want to make your 20 years worth your fight, then you might as well do it with paper, right. Because the more documents you have and the more paper.
We had talked about a petition when we went to the rally a couple of years ago with LaTanya Whittington from Cannabis Reform in Houston, and with her husband, and he was wanting to get this petition going. And like you said, Texas and petitions. I really don't know, but you know what? It can't hurt.
From my understanding, is they don't fully they're not recognized the same as in other states. But even if there's got to be another option. So let's just say from the ingredients we remove eggs from baking a cake or something. There's another additive that they normally. There's something else that they replaced that program with. If it's not petitions, what is it and what is it called? Yeah. I mean, just because, just like with the teacup thing, they have their own lingo for everything from what I've noticed, but it is a similar setup at times, but it's all about understanding their own lingo. That's kind of dummifies people too, because then you're like, well, wait, that doesn't make any sense because it's a whole new lingo, basically. So I definitely would advise about reaching out to a lawyer out there that is a cannabis lawyer, because they already studied the whole law and know everything. So you could literally just have a conversation with them and see what they think the next step would be and how much would it be to retain them to get them to do that. And then they can give you a price, and if you choose not to use them, don't use them. But now you have their little plan, and you can try to work that plan within your own self or budget until you get to that point where you need him. And now it would be less of a fee because you've accomplished half of that plan, And then with enough petitions, you could even collect some donations, and the donation could pay for the lawyer.
That's what I was just fixing to say, Trisha. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. But I would do petitions. And if you could do petitions, if you could somehow, I don't know how tech savvy, I know you guys aren't as tech savvy, but I'm sure that somebody out there with these petitions, there could be a way to even organize them by the state, because if so many people sign, some of these signatures might be able to use for other states that people are into, for their states or something, there's got to be a way to get multiple purpose out of some of the signatures, because they all have the same belief, but in what state? Maybe do the petition and do it for each state, so every signature is counted per state or something, and do it across the map. Screw that shit.
Right, I agree. Excellent plan.
I mean,
I'm right trying to get Keegan to come join us in.
Yeah, I mean, the more the people, the better, because that's how you're gonna actually get something accomplished. Truthfully.
Absolutely right.
And if you got more states involved, that's more doctors that also want to, the same plan replicated in each state would only help and betterment the service of the whole concept. And petitions are used in all the other states, so the petitions would help all the other states, but whatever that's called for you would be a separate form. You feel me? So it'd just be the same person signing multiple forms real quick, over and over real quick, even though that's annoying, but if they're really cannabis lovers, they would have no flipping problem doing it,
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm
It's just a couple signatures real quick.
I think we can get it done.
I believe you guys can. You guys are true go-getters, and when you guys put your mind to something with a plan, we've done many plans like this normally just privately over the phone. You guys have always followed through. So I've been really thinking over all of our podcasts is how can we get you guys fully legal, because I've been just watching y'all fight your little souls out on this battle, and I feel like a little teacup ain't shit. What?
When I say we've been doing it by ourselves, we haven't been doing it by ourselves. The only reason why Lori and I do it by ourselves because we don't have nobody to come with us. I think we put it on there for a couple of months to come with us to Austin, and we only had a handful of people. We need more people to come up there with us. I know a lot of different groups go up there and fight.
Well, that would be awesome, but I'll be honest, nowadays it's hard to get a lot of people to take time off of their financial situations and livings and earnings.
Do it on the weekend.
No, well, I mean, a lot of people, nowadays, people don't have a schedule where they just have the weekends off every weekend, or the money to travel to do that for their cause, with their family and the economics the way that it is and recovering from the pandemic.
They go to a concert,
Well, no, yeah, but those are, I'm sure that, they're not going to want, the amount that it costs to travel especially when you have to get like a dog sitter, you have to get babysitters, you have to get this. Like it escalates more than just a night out at the concert. You know what I mean?
I'd rather go get my state legal.
No, I totally feel you, but that's the issue the realization of the issue that people run into. So that's where getting the signatures electronically, because for those that don't show, you're still there for the support that they've already given. All you got to do now is turn it in. So if you don't have the actual fan base that will follow and go through and go up to the courthouse and, fill the whole place and do the things that you're discussing, then you should just get signatures. And a signatures is more than enough in whatever forms of petition they're called down there. I don't know what their terminology is down there, But I definitely feel like the signatures are where you're going to start at. Then once those changes start, then once you got another process of change, then people will actually get up and come down there and want to be more involved once they start seeing changes. But that's the shitty part of...
But I agree, the signatures were a story. I mean, that's your numbers. They may not be there, but they're signing that petition.
Yes, and that's where change will start. Then once people start getting a little taste of change or an ideal of like a court date coming for change, then people will get off their asses and actually come up and show up, because now they feel like what you're saying is actually going to be successful and happen at this point, where in the beginning it's a possibility. So I'm not going to financially invest in a possibility when I've got this, that, or the other, or like everybody's got crazy lives every day and like they plan things and it's just, they're living check to check. So they might invest that little check to check if they feel the change is actually going to be there, because now we're going there to fight for, like, you always see at the end, and like even with the whole like campaigning towards the end of the year, like when it's time to vote for president, that year they do all their campaigning and they're traveling. The last 4 years, what were they doing before that? It's all about right before the change happens is when the people start to actually put in their effort and fight an opinion. But it's about you going out there and collecting their opinions to get their opinions validated, so then it can start the change.
You're absolutely right. Until then, there won't be a change. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, so I really advise that's where you guys start. And then still do your hemp thing. Like, get your hemp license
to... Like Billy Blaze, how he started it.
Right. I think that's what, I hope that's what's going on. I think Troy Gibson's going to be the next Billy Blaze over here, to tell you the truth. And he is. He's pushing real hard with us as well. And we need to start doing more. We need to get with everybody and start doing more stuff here in Texas.
I got another question.
Together, go at once up there.
Right.
So I know y'all have talked about moving out of state possibly if it doesn't see a change. Is that still an option where you guys will move your children and grandchildren and relocate your whole family to another state to continue to move forward with this?
Well, I don't know about the whole family, but Lori and I, my son and my son's girlfriend, may do something in Colorado. I don't know yet. It's a big jump, I know. Lori and I, we're going to get, and also with Keegan Dowsey as well. We're doing a few things.
Okay, so if it doesn't make a change, you could possibly, in the future, see yourself in Colorado, perhaps?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
If things don't change in Texas, that's what we're planning on doing.
That's so funny. My husband made a comment the other night. He was watching some, marijuana show, and he was talking about the laws down there in Colorado. And he was like, man, that's where we need to go. There like really aren't no laws now. Like everything is just so la-di-da-da. I was like, really?
Well, yeah.
He was like, yeah like there's no... I was like, I don't know. And I mean, we were just...
Definitely not like Texas. Yeah.
Right. He was just high and like making a comment though. But I could see if we did go, like us, we always thought about Cali or Colorado or Oregon, but I couldn't actually see us making the change. Like, I just can't see. I don't know. This is my home state, and this is where I can't leave home. And now we're fully legal, like to the point.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we're not, though. Actually, if you think about it, like
I wouldn't be leaving Texas if it was like.
See, you think that, but there's such a negative still. Like right now, we can't actually open our own dispensary. We can't do our certain things that we want to do, even though it's legal, because you have to pay X amount of money for applications, and then there's only so many spots available, then so many cities. Like there's regulations to all of it that they literally have down to a T. And literally Canada has taken over so many things already over on this side that
I need to move to Canada.
And see, Trish, that's like Texas
teacup
program. You can't grow, or you can't even have flour. It's only gummies.
We can grow and have our own flour at the house, don't get me wrong, but we can't grow for a dispensary and sell it to a dispensary. We can't grow. Like, in the beginning, we were allowed to do those things. We were allowed to actually grow and sell it to a dispensary. With the new regulations and the new laws, you can't do that now.
Okay, Lori just said you can't have flour. Yes, you can. You can have flour.
I can. Here. Not in... I
have
can.
all that.
Yeah, we can in Michigan. We can have all of that stuff, yes. Right. So, yep, you're allowed to have all of that.
But what I'm trying to get at is crazy. We have all the things y'all have, but it's Delta 8. But when you go in the smoke shops, you ask them, or you don't have to ask them, it says THC on the door. THC. Yeah. So, I just don't understand this.
Well, all CBD products carry 3% THC. So there is THC in all CBD products, and it's actually 3%.
It's a hemp plant. It's going to grow THC. I mean, what?
Right, but all products, even all the ones that are over the counter here, it says caution 3%. It may contain 3% THC. So there is THC, but it's all about the percentages and the guidelines. So obviously, there's a percentage that's legal, but then the hemp, to have the actual like consumption of raw THC, which is like the plant or any other form that's not in a CBD product, that hasn't been manufactured by a CBD company, that I think is where the teacup law comes into play. So dispensaries.
I just would like to know how they get a marijuana plant 1%.
I don't know. I don't think it's the 1% part itself. I think it's about when you extract it and like how when you're testing it, like what you're actually like the diameters. But I don't even understand how you consume it or how you prescribe it or how you. I'm not like I don't understand any of the dynamics in that math right there because we don't have those laws.
1%.
1%, like milligram.
The gummies. Like, I've seen David's picture of his gummies. It's 40 milligrams.
Okay, so then each gummy contains
40 milligrams of 1%. Like, most cannabis range is like 18%. Well, that is 1%. But it's 40 milligrams of 1%. So
yeah, so it sounds to me like they're making a batch of gummies. They're measuring the amount of THC that goes in based on they're probably using it in like a tincture or a liquid form. So it's already been tested, and then they know how much in each dropper. They drop it in, they cook it, then they drop them in to fill all the gummies, and they know when they divide all of those milligrams up.
I want to know how that flour at the shop is 1%.
It's not the whole plant itself. It's the consumption of what you're consuming per batch and per consuming. Right. So if I drug tested you and your levels. So like for instance here, when you're on probation and they drug test you, they see you're dirty for THC. They test your levels of THC. Let's say your levels are 28% or 48% level. Obviously, you were a heavy smoker for more than the last 30 days. So it's going to take an average of 30 days for this to get out of your system. Some people that have a high level, it can take up to 60 days to get out of their system, but the levels are lower. So the way that you would still pass your drug test with your parole officer or probation officer is as long as your level is going down, and even though you're peeing dirty, it's still a good dirty because your levels are going down, so you're still detoxing. After 60 days and your levels are staying like at a base low, he knows you're still slowly smoking it. You're just trying to trick a bitch. So like you're in trouble. So you just gotta and that's how I think that's what they're talking about, the moderations of what you're consuming. So when you're testing, your levels are staying always at a 1%. So a 40 milligram gummy bear you would consume every 2 hours or every 4 hours or every so many hours. So this whole batch will last you 24 hours or 3 days or every 8 hours depending on the size of the chocolate.
They give them a 30-day supply. I think it's.
Yeah, so if you're looking at it let's just say a Narco.
They're not cheap. They're $100.
Yeah, so let's just use Narcos as a reference. Let's say you were to get take 2 a day and they gave you a 30-day supply. You would have 60 Narcos, and there would be 2 in the day every so many hours between each other or as needed in that span. So I think they're looking at each gummy as being a form of a pill with a milligram usage, and they're obviously pharmaceutically, whipping up their batches and measuring and doing what they're doing to make that. And that's how they're controlling it. So how you would pass and stay on those levels would obviously to be only to consume that amount. So if you're also smoking marijuana, I can tell you right now, one whole joint or one whole blunt is going to take you off the top compared to those gummies. You're going to fail. So you guys are going to fail no matter what, because you guys are never going to be at 1%. To be honest, I don't see how you guys would ever be at 1%.
And that's why the teacup program needs overhauling.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just overhaul it instead of trying to change the percentage, because even if we change the percentage, now that I broke down that math factor, let's say we get it up to 3%. So what are we going to get, 6 gummies a day instead of 2? Does that really change anything, long-term factor or consuming factor or growing factor or legalization it to a better level? Hello?
I'm sorry, I was looking at a message. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll repeat the question. So basically, even if we decided to up the level for that teacup from 1% to 3%, all it would actually change in that fight, even if we won that fight, would be how many gummies we consumed a day. Instead of 2, would be 4 or 6.
Exactly.
Which,
see, it was supposed to have been 5%, and then they amended it at the last minute to 3%. I mean, to 1%. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 5% in the beginning, and it was amended to 1%, and then they amended. They took chronic pain off. They amended that as well.
See, and I think that's the trick, people, because a lot of people, when they hear, 5%, okay, that's cool. I don't need to sign anything. I don't need to do anything. It's already at 5%, and I'm happy with what it's going to be. So, cool. But then when they find out at the last minute that it's not 5%, it's 1%, and had you have voted or did this or that, it might have changed. A lot of people don't realize that big difference, that can make. And they amended it. What legal right do they have to amend? Why did they amend the initial?
And that's what was, they just did it.
Did anybody try to file an appeal on that, or look at a lawsuit to file an appeal, or call act of some form of? I mean, there has to be a reason to amend it.
See, that's in Texas, we're not allowed to vote. That's the petition that we had talked about with LaTanya Whittington's husband, was starting a petition allowing Texans to vote.
But it would take so long. It would take as long as it has the teacup.
Right.
Not necessarily. Okay, so let's look at the dynamics and the numbers for a moment. Okay, let's just use 1,000 as a simple number. Let's just say there was 1,000 residents in Texas, which I know I'm way off. Okay,
right.
Let's just say only 500 of those are cannabis users. Your goal even would take you how long as a cannabis fight, because that's 500, only 500 people that you have a chance to get to sign your thing, and that's hoping that you get everyone to sign it. Let's say you only got 250 to sign it. Your numbers wouldn't be as high, whereas people that want the option to vote, I guarantee you 900 people out of that 1,000 number would want the option, and the other 1,000 that wouldn't want the option is because they're immigration and they don't actually have the option yet to even sign that. like they don't have their green card.
If we go to downtown Houston, we can get, if we have 4, 5, 6
I guarantee you,
corner, we can get a couple of thousand.
Yes, I guarantee you that if you actually go with that plan to be able to vote and you do that fight, there's so many more options. I think that would be so successful, and if that becomes successful, I think the first thing you guys should be voting on, it would be the acts and laws of changing the marijuana teacup. If you were to successfully change the way you guys could vote down there, then the ripple effect would be easier to change because you now have the option to vote on things and collect the petitions of signatures that we talked about, and it would be more effective because the order of operation changed, so you would fit that order. Where right now, you don't actually fit that order of operating, so it's a 50-50 chance, and the numbers of the people you can push the petition to are not the same as the whole state. There's only a percentage. So I'm sure the whole state would like to be able to vote on a lot of other things. I'm sure everybody has their cause and everybody has their fight. So I would go with that cause, and I would support.
Yeah, we would be legal.
Yeah, I would support voting, getting your right to vote, and I would support making that legal, and still work on your own fight at the same time, but merge those two causes together once you become successful at A or B. But I definitely think that you'll get way more signatures in your cannabis cause if you also are part of the fight of helping get your rights legal to vote, because all of those other people that would be grateful and thankful would also might want to help you on your cause for cannabis.
Right. I firmly agree.
So, I don't know. I just think that your cannabis cause is great. Ooh, my dog is going crazy because the mailman's here. Whoopee, I know the mailman's here. Stop it, baby. So, anyways, yeah. But I definitely look forward to following your guys' cause through this year and doing a couple more updates with you guys. 1 second. Whoopee, stop it. Whoopee. She does not like the mailman at all. She doesn't understand. We got one of those mailboxes that's on the door, so they slide it through and it falls on the floor right by her. So she feels like he has access to the house and she can't control it. So it's the only thing.
Get away from my door.
Yeah, that and squirrels. She goes crazy over. But anyways, I appreciate you guys coming on. We had an awesome talk. We've been on for quite a while. For anybody who hasn't checked out the previous podcast with Lori and Steve, there's so much awesome updates in our previous shows. You should go check them out, so to get like a better understanding of everything they have going on over there. And then that way when we do our future updates, you guys will be fully up to date on their fight and their battle and how long and what they've been trying to do to make cannabis legal in Texas.
Yes, and if anyone's out there listening from Texas or going to replay from Texas, please come join us. Get with us. Find us. If we're Canna Care Up on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram.
That we're Get the Live Canna Care on Instagram. On Discord, we're Get the Live Care. Well, we're actually Cloud9 by Get the Live. That's our store. And on Discord. And we're also on TikTok, Get the Live Canna Care. We're Get the Live Canna Care on all the social platforms. And our group is Canna Care Off on Facebook.
Definitely. So
and also check out our new.com, gettheflightcannacare.com as well.
Yes. Oh, and check out our new.com. We got 420smokeroom .weeble.com. We got a little store on there. The store is still coming soon. We've only got like one item up right now because merchandise is still waiting on it to be received. And then, but you can follow our podcast on there, our updates. You can also book a spot on the show through my appointment book is on there. So yeah, there's a lot of awesome stuff going on both of our websites. I'm really excited about the future and what this year holds.
Speaking of merchandise, we'll be having some Get the Live Canna Care gear coming soon as well.
You said gear?
Yes, ma'am. We're working on that right now. Bucket hats, T-shirts right now. And then we'll go further if we succeed with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of the same goal we have over here. We just kind of, but ours isn't so much a gear. We actually have like, we're gonna have bongs, trays, like accessories per se with a little bit of gear, but more like accessory wise, stuff like that.
I was thinking about getting that.
Yeah, it's a little. That would be cool. Some little
Yeah.
silicone trays. With
But we don't ever have time to do that. So, you know, I mean,
I'm working on
I say
it.
we don't ever have time.
Working
We
on it.
have a little time. I can do that. You know, I love tinkering around with stuff like that. I gotta act for stuff like that. Anyway.
You definitely do, that's for sure. I notice you guys are very hands-on. So, yeah. So, I look forward to talking to y'all next time, and I'm going to let y'all go for today. I appreciate you guys coming on, giving us an update, and having a sesh with us.
Thanks for having us, Trish.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for having us. Big shout out to all you ladies and gentlemen that are out there helping us fight here in Texas. And we would love for y'all to come join us as well whenever we go out to fight here in Texas. So please come join us. Follow us on Facebook.
Yes, definitely. So when you guys get like something going on or involved in that fight, send it to me so I can share it and let people know so they can show up and be part of it. I think a lot of it also is making sure that we spread the word prior to the event so that way
Absolutely.
we can support each other and hopefully others will show.
Absolutely.
All right, well, until then, I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, bye, Trish.
Have a good day.
Stay amazing.
Stay amazing.
Bye.
Keep on blazing.
I will. Thanks for coming to the
Bye.
420 Smoke Room.